Time to keep my channel active. I'm gonna do some duo fragrances today. Potentially dangerous review, right? To get some of the drama out of the way. I'm not really interested in any drama, right? I'm just gonna be talking about the scents. I'm not gonna do any clone fragrances of theirs. So if you guys don't care about or if that's your reason for the drama of the clone fragrances, I'm not gonna be talking about any of those. So that should squash that, I guess, right? As for the drama kind of itself, again, not really interested in it, but just my opinion. I've seen shady things from both sides, it looks like to me. I assume there's a cult following for them and a cult hater following. Like I said, it doesn't really interest me. I've said before, I used to make money playing video games and tournaments, and I think once you get good enough at something that you start making money, or I guess anything in life that you start making money, you see that just how shady things are, and I'm not really interested about drama and that kind of crap. So that doesn't really interest me. I'm just going to be talking about the scents, what I think about how they smell. Okay, so hopefully that squashes that. So I'm going to do every scent that I've ever smelled from them on just their originals. I'm going to split this up because I'm going to try to talk about them all and just put it together. I'm going to do the mobster first. I don't take back anything when I said about the mobster the first time I smelled it because there was something wrong with it. So I don't take that back. But what I have smelled though now, and warned, yada yada yada, what do I think it smells like? I think it smells like, imagine you're in some kind of like forest or something, right? And imagine there's some kind of like maybe cherry tobacco in the air, right? And there's this huge slab of wood, and you take out this fruity kind of whiskey, whatever kind of smell you want to call it, and you just drench it and pour it all over this piece of wood, right? And you just cover it, you drench it, it's whatever, and it creates a kind of varnish, waxy, almost kind of screechy quality to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so now it's like shining from this like whiskey kind of fruity smell, fruity whiskey kind of smell. Then maybe you like maybe you kind of like pour a little bit of spices or cinnamon over it or something, right? And then as that dries down, eventually, you know what I mean? Maybe some patchouli comes out, but it's just kind of like a sweet, woody smell with some spices, really, I would say. I do think it smells good. I have gotten compliments on it. About the worst thing I've ever had anyone tell me is that they thought it smelled dry, which I do agree it is pretty dry. And that it kind of smelled like cherry cough syrup to them. But I can kind of see that too. But whatever the case, like I said, I do think it smells good. My main qualm with it would be that it is a little dry for me, and I'm not super horny about woody scents that have that kind of varnishy, screechy kind of quality to them. You know what I mean? Because I think it makes them a little less sexy and like snuggly, and anyone that watches my reviews knows that I like to take my that wasn't a sex sound. That probably sounded weird, right? I like to put my nose in my arm and just relax, you know what I mean? When things are like kind of snuggly like that. So there is like a few hours while this is going on that it's just a little too dry for me and a little too screechy, varnishy. But in general, like I said, I think it's a good smell. Performance wise, I know lots of reviewers for duo fragrances have been like, "Oh my God, what the fuck? It's filling up the room. Oh my God!" Like I haven't experienced that with any duo fragrance that I smell, but the performance is good. Not really any problem there, but yeah, that's what I kind of think it smells like. You know what I mean? So some kind of tobacco in the air, and you're drinking maybe out there, and you accidentally poured your fruity kind of whiskey all over this big slab of wood, and it just soaked it all up. I wish it would have been a little sweeter because I guess the wood was just a little too much wood and makes it a little too dry for me. But I do think it smells good though, so you know that's my kind of review of the mobster. What I think. Like I said, I got a lot to go through here. I'm gonna do some of the gourmand stuff because I like gourmand stuff, and for the gourmand stuff, I'm gonna say the word boozy a lot. But when I say boozy for these, I just want to note that these are not boozy in the terms of, first of all, I think the word boozy sounds kind of like silly because it makes me feel kind of stupid to even say. It's such a fragrance kind of word. But whatever the case, when I think of the word boozy, my perspective is usually darker and sweeter. But when I say boozy, and I repeat myself here for a lot of these, I want you to imagine more of like a boozy alcohol in the sense of kind of like a sparkling, kind of like a champagne or something like a ginger ale or something, because these are very bubbly kind of, and kind of like sparkly, kind of boozy in that kind of way. So I'm going to say that over quite a few times, I'm sure. But and they also, a lot of these also have kind of these next ones have kind of a foamy, frothy kind of sweet smell to them, like you're drinking something and the edge of your cup just has that kind of sweet, foamy froth from the drink left. Anyway, I got quite a few to get through here, so I'm gonna split these up. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna do is Camp Do Felicity. I don't remember friend from school. Don't ask me. Anyway, I was a little disappointed when I first smelled this because this is gonna maybe sound some weird to some people, but I was expecting it to be a little more novelty-ish, and something being kind of novelty-ish doesn't really bother me. I thought it was gonna smell a little bit more like a s'more, really, which again, something being kind of novelty doesn't really bother me. And I was really unexpected, as I mentioned before, just how kind of boozy this is, in which a lot of the other stuff I've smelled from Dua is the gourmand stuff, at least. You know what I mean? Because has a very boozy, but a sparkling, not a dark boozy. The darkest color this would be orange, right? This has a very kind of like, a very kind of boozy, sparkling, bubbly opening. I would describe this almost as like a golden marshmallow, let's say. So let's say that let's think of campfire. Let's try to imagine this, right? So you have this kind of like piece of oak that you're going to roast this marshmallow over. You take your Grand Marnier, whatever kind of liquor this you're drinking, right? And you're just like pouring it over this oak, which is going to light this on fire. And as the oak catches on fire, it's like letting loose little golden ambers of graham cracker, just a little bit, right? And these little golden graham cracker embers are like sticking to the marshmallow, right? So it's creating kind of like a golden marshmallow, a smoky golden marshmallow that has this kind of like boozy, but not in a dark way, and this kind of like golden, darkest color would be orange kind of liquor smell to it. And that's kind of what I get, you know what I mean? Much more sparkling, boozy at the beginning, and then it gives way to a kind of a smoky, golden marshmallow kind of smell. There is a hint of kind of like bitterness to this sometimes. I don't know if it's the maple sap, I guess they have in it with the smoky oak. Maybe it's kind of mixing to make it a little bitter sometimes. So it's not always super scrumptious up close, but I will say just the scent bubble of this actually smells really good. Just not super snugly because it's a little dry up close, but when I've worn this, just smelling myself throughout the day, I'm like, man, I have a really nice scent bubble right now. So the scent bubble of this is actually really nice. That's kind of what I think of that. Performance was pretty good. I would say good. Like I said, no Dua fragrance that I've ever smelled has been like, oh my god, dude, fuck me. I've never had anything like anyone else has said, but the performance is good. Yeah, this one smells pretty good. Like I said, unexpected, not really what I was thinking, but you know what I mean? When I wore it again and really kind of like gave it a chance, I could dig it a little more, you know what I mean? So, what's the next one to do? I know I'm splitting these in. I just could not do all these in a row. I'm gonna do the next one I'm gonna do is probably the one that probably seems the most novelty of all these. I'm gonna do Delectable Temptation. Like I said, I only have samples of these that I've tried. I'm gonna do Delectable Temptation. This one is supposed to smell, I guess, kind of like blueberry pancakes, I guess. I don't know about blueberry pancakes per se, but this kind of smells to me, I would say, something like a blueberry whipped cream or something like a blueberry yogurt. And I would almost describe it, say you have this blueberry, let's assume that it's yogurt, right? So you have this blueberry whipped cream kind of yogurt, right? And you know when you're like swirling something, do you know what I mean? Like, so you're swirling this blueberry whipped cream yogurt kind of thing. And as you're swirling it, you're slowly seeing little the hint and swirl of the golden honey, right? So I feel like this would be a better thing to like actually draw, right? So the honey starts to come through. It's like very sweet, and it's mixing with that, and then maybe there's a little bit of maple sap, and then maybe at the very bottom, I have to suspend disbelief to believe that this is a blueberry pancake. I guess I can kind of see when I get lots of the honey, and I get lots of well, I don't never get lots of maple sap, but I can smell a little bit of maple sap, and maybe there's like a little bit of cedar at the bottom of your yogurt. You know what I mean? So these different kind of nuances. I guess this I've heard to think that the cedar is a harder element that we're smelling. I guess that might make me, I'm trying to. Sometimes you gotta like suspend disbelief and believe, right? Because you gotta believe in life, right? Use your imagination. Um, but I really have to suspend disbelief to imagine this being a blueberry kind of pancake, right? But what I will say is, yeah, I do agree that I can see this being like a blueberry whipped cream, and you're swirling around the yogurt, and you're getting the honey's coming out, and like a bit of maple sap. So I think it smells like that. When you think of blueberry, maybe that automatically makes it seem kind of novelty. But for me, who doesn't actually eat blueberry pancakes, I guess I don't know. I think it smells pretty good. I guess it is novelty, but it's not bad. And as this dries down, this is something that a lot of these fragrances have too. Very strong, sweet, foamy, frothy kind of aspect. Do you know what I mean? I mean, some other fragrances have this, from other companies too. But a lot of dewy fragrances that smell have this quality. If that makes sense. Um, I think it smells good. It's pretty novelty, but not a bad smell, right? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully I'm trying. Hopefully, I really wish I could visualize this swirl of swirling the blueberry whipped cream and then slowly seeing the golden darkened honey aspect of it mixing with this. But that's what it kind of smells like. I don't so much get the pancake. Really have to suspend disbelief to make myself believe that. But when you get lots of honey and a little bit of maple sap, you can kind of see it a little bit. But for the most part, I think it smells kind of what else I think. And then you get the foamy kind of sweet dried out. I got a few more to go. Decadence. What does decadence smell like? Decadence is, again, a lot of these scents have a very sparkling, kind of bubbly drink nuance to them. Decadence kind of smells like, I would say, kind of smells like, imagine maybe it's Christmas or something. Maybe you just have a fucking pine tree in your house. I don't know. I'm not judging you. But you're by this tree or something like that. And for some reason, maybe you're drinking like a ginger ale, right? And I would say, personally, I'm a Canada Dry guy, but some people like Vernors. I like Canada Dry. But imagine you have like a Vernors, right? And you spilled your Vernors on your hand or something like. So you're by this pine tree, Christmas tree, and you spilled your Vernors all over your arm or something like that, or all over your body. Man, maybe it's a fucking crazy party. People are getting crazy, right? Girls are naked, and you're just. They really wanted some Vernors all over them. I don't know what the place. So I'm not judging what's going on at anyone's Christmas party. But so you got ginger ale all over you, and besides that though, you can smell kind of like the herbs and seasoning of whatever you're cooking in the background, right? So that's what I would think of decadence. I thought this smelled kind of weird on paper, but I think it smells a little better on skin. And like I said, I don't think it's a bad smell. Unexpected smell. That's what I would call this, unexpected and interesting. It wasn't what I was expecting, so that makes it kind of interesting to me. Does it smell good? It doesn't smell bad. Do I want to wear it? I'm not sure, but it smelled interesting to me, like because I just was not expecting it. So yeah, some Christmas tree, pine trees around you, and you spilled some ginger ale all over you, maybe like a Verner's or something like that. because I wouldn't say it's like delicious enough or tasty enough for me to think of as a Canada Dry. And then you can smell the herbs and the seasoning of whatever kind of food you're cooking in the background for this party. Very bubbly, crisp. Yeah, crisp is a word I should probably use. Surprisingly crisp, right? So that's what I would call this. That was decadence. I'm trying to make these interesting. I'm trying to think of interesting ways to describe these. Next one I'm gonna do Noble Irish Cream. I actually really wanted this. This is another one that I actually really want to smell because people know that I really like coffee fragrances. Um, in terms of coffee, I was disappointed in this. Not that this smelled like a bitter kind of coffee that I don't like that some fragrances do. Just that I didn't really get much coffee out of this. I would say this basically smells like maybe you went to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, wherever you got your coffee, and your frappuccino, cappuccino, whatever you're drinking. I really want to drink one of those s'mores frappuccinos again at Starbucks. I hopefully have that again this year. Anyway, um, basically, but imagine you just got a ton of whipped cream. This is basically not a lot of coffee. Someone drank most of your coffee, and for some reason they didn't want the whipped cream. I don't know why they didn't want the whipped cream, but you just got a ton of whipped cream, and it's just all over. And there's only like a hint of something kind of tasty. I don't know. I really wouldn't even think of a coffee. Maybe the patchouli gives you a little bit of a chocolatey kind of smell, but it's really just a lot of whipped cream. A lot of whipped cream with some little bit of sweet nuances, maybe a little bit of spice from, I guess there's supposedly cinnamon in the notes. You know what I mean? But really just whipped cream, and then the whipped cream goes down, and then all you're left with is just a very, again, a frothy kind of sweet smell, right? Do I think it smells good? Yeah, I think whipped cream smells good, but I was kind of disappointed that I didn't really get a lot of, coffee out of it, but it smells good. I will say the performance on this one was not good on me though. This is I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has done a review on this on YouTube. I don't know if they've given one of those, oh, it's filling the room, dude. I don't know if they've given any one of those kind of reviews, but this actually did not perform very well that I smelled, that I've worn, I should say. But it's a good smell. I mean, whipped cream smells good, right? So if you like, I would say if you like maybe something like Cerezo, if people have smelled that, maybe try this out. I would say something kind of like reminds me of something like that, but not as chocolatey and much more whipped cream. How many more do I have left? Did I do everything? Oh, I got two more. Almost done. I'm gonna do Festivus with the mobster. Again, very boozy, but in a sparkly kind of way, right? Um, this one is supposed to kind of have some cinnamon in it. Uh, this one is supposed to kind of smell like cinnamon, I guess. I got absolutely no cinnamon out of this. I will say though, for the name Festivus, I do agree. Again, a lot of these have a kind of champagne, a sparkling boozy nuance to them. A crisp. So I will say Festivus, yeah, sure. I agree with that. I don't get any cinnamon, unfortunately, but it's a very joyous kind of smell, I guess you could say. Yeah, I guess if you like that kind of like liquor kind of smell, it is kind of boozy. It's supposed to have tobacco in it as well, I guess. I guess if we are to think that, tobacco can have a fruity nuance to it, I will say that, but then again, it's supposedly, there's rum and whiskey in this as well, so maybe that's where the fruity nuance is coming. But maybe there's a bit of a chewy, gourmandish aspect to this. So I will say maybe then. I don't really think of tobacco of this. I don't really think of Cinnabon, but I guess I can see myself when I'm smelling myself wearing this. There's perhaps a bit of a chewiness that I can imagine to this, right? That makes it maybe a little gourmand. But again, really to me, just very boozy, but in a sparkling, think of a lighter color. This one is maybe this one kind of smells a little bit like the Camp Dew Felicity, but it never becomes smoky or vanilla sweet like that. This one, it just keeps that boozy nuance, but has a more of a fruitiness, sweetness to it, with maybe a little bit of chewiness that, again, I don't smell any cinnamon in it. I don't smell any tobacco in it really, but if that's where that kind of chewiness comes from, I'm really digging this new song that I've been listening to. I don't know if people can hear it in the background, but anyway, yeah. Again, not a bad smell. You know, I know a lot of people, are talking shit about the Dew fragrances. I'm not really in love with anything that I've smelled from them, but I haven't smelled anything that I thought has smelled bad either. So I got one left to go. I think this is the last one. Cupid's Lust. It's a chocolate one. What do I think this one smells like? I would say this is a brownie kind of chocolate. And on the brownie, let's say the frosting fudge that you have on it is maybe made out of a liquor. Although this is a dark liquor. This is not like the other that I've said that I've had a kind of a lighter color. This is a darker kind of liquor. And it is, there's some honey in it. Maybe it's the plum, you know what I mean? But that's what the frosting is made out of. And the bottom is the chocolate brownie. But I will say that there is a bit of a feminine touch to this one. I get almost kind of a plastic lipstick kind of smell. I don't know the way the plum and the vanilla is in it or something, or maybe it's the liquor with this. Maybe maybe you have maybe your chocolate is neutral because it's a food, but somehow there's genders now in frosting, and the frosting has a feminine aspect to it. I'm not sure how to explain, or maybe your brownie is in some kind of girl's like makeup bag. I don't know. There's something kind of feminine about this to me. It's definitely a chocolate bomb, that's for sure. And I like chocolate fragrances. I think it smells good, but there's like a touch of like feminine quality to this. I'm not sure how to describe it. Again, good smell, performs well. Again, gives way to a frothy, sweet kind of dried down that a lot of the Dew fragrances I've smelled like. For me personally, I will say though that it doesn't. Would I wear? Okay, I wouldn't not wear it. I mean, it's chocolate; it smells good, but I would not be tempted to buy it or own it. For me personally, in my fragrance journey, because I have too many other chocolate fragrances that I would rather wear. Chocolate Greedy, Oi Plus, Amber Chocolate. Remember, there's two Amber Chocolates that I'm aware of. I'm talking about the La Vida del Perfumo, that one. I love that one. That Amber Chocolate, Chocolate Man. Although, like I said, I haven't really had a lot of, I would say, compliment wise, that has been pretty iffy for me, strangely. But I think Chocolate Man, God, there's so many other, there's just, this doesn't make me, for someone that loves chocolate fragrances like me, I guess if you love chocolate fragrances, it's probably worth smelling because it's definitely a chocolate bomb. But for me, who has as many chocolate fragrances as I do, I don't feel tempted to own it because I don't think it does anything better than any chocolate fragrance that I already have, and I already have a lot. So, not a bad smell, but don't feel compelled to own it. Just all the chocolate ones I have smell better than it, I think. So yeah, dude, I think I did all the Dew fragrances I smelled. Hopefully, too many people don't hate me because I know, like I said, there's a cult following for them, and there's a cult hate group. I've seen shady things from both sides. I'm not interested about drama. I'm just telling you what I smell. You can take that for what it is, I guess. Thanks for watching. If you watched the whole thing, yeah.